the last thing I guess a question for you is, I saw the Young Turks did a piece last night, and I'm going to go ahead and get off here pretty quick because, like I said, I'm sitting with Little Man. They did a piece on Bill Clinton's connection to a gentleman named Jeffrey Epstein.
Yep.
Who seems absolutely disgusting.
Disgusting.
I don't know too much about it. I was just wanting to know what y'all's perspective and information on that was.
All right, yeah, happy to talk about what I know on that. Jeffrey Epstein
Hey, Jeff.
was a billionaire who there is a lot of documentation. I don't know where this stands at the moment, but that he was basically engaging in these, I don't know if I would say full-on pedophilia rings, but they were. It was like getting underage,
essentially, yes,
prostitutes, and perhaps like sex trafficking, and there was
with girls as young as 14. I mean, just to be really clear. I mean, yeah, and
like Alan Dershowitz is implicated in this in a way that is very sort of hazy. Now, Bill Clinton supposedly went on trips with him or used his plane.
He let Bill Clinton fly on his jet.
Yeah, I don't think this was a situation where Clinton's associated with him, because that's where apparently, any billionaires that are not full-on right-wingers, I think you'll have found the Clintons to have borrowed their plane at any given point.
Sure.
And
I'll go on your plane.
But there's a lot more evidence that there are other people who were like closely associated and went on, these creepy junkets. I don't know what the status of the...
He's not in jail anymore.
He's not in jail.
And he compared what he did, I think, to stealing a bagel at one point. And the real questions with him are like, actually more for like local law enforcement in Florida for his sentencing. And it's one of these stories that everybody wants to use as a football, and it's fine. Like, you can criticize Bill Clinton for, again, being on his plane. There's really no evidence that Bill Clinton had any knowledge of this aspect of Jeffrey Epstein. But Donald Trump is quoted in articles talking about how he and Jeffrey both loved the ladies. That was like written like in 2006 for New York Magazine. Harvard had to give back a lot of money that he contributed. He gave money to world-renowned scientists. So it's also just a story of just basically how plutocracy can just corrupt everything it touches. And it's a bigger systemic thing. So Clinton, when the right tries to use it on Bill Clinton, it's ironic because it's going to implicate a lot of people.
Apparently, he used his private jet like 26 times.
No, he was part of the regular rotation.
I imagine that jet got a lot of work. I mean, so there's been no evidence that Clinton was involved in any of these sort of parties, I guess, that Epstein was accused. And like I said, he spent almost a year and a half maybe in jail, but that was on state charges, and the feds don't seem to have done anything.
The charges against Epstein, not that they're related, these are related to Bill Clinton, are not hazy. They're pretty specific. They're not about sex parties. They're about
trafficking.
I don't think trafficking, or else the feds would be involved, but about a specific 14-year-old girl and bringing her over personally, and her mother finding out, something along those lines.
Christ.
Well, the broader thing is trafficking, because so that's a question of like why the feds and why in a number of steps, including, as I say, going back to like 2006, I think, like why local Floridian authorities were not more on it. Like,
well, it was
whole...
state. Apparently, he served for state charges of solicitation and procurement of minors for prostitution, and that supposedly the feds entered into a secret non-prosecution agreement if he would plead guilty to these state charges. And so I don't believe this is over, though, because apparently there are meetings that are taking place where a plaintiff's attorney, where you're seeing basically a civil case.
He'll do it again, too.
Of course.
He will.
And as far as, if people can look it up on their own, but as far as people have been associated with him, who there have been further actual direct accusations around, it's, you can look that up. And it's not, Bill Clinton's not on that list, but there are some prominent people on that list.
DX Fullheads, congrats. Hello, you. I'm Sam Seder. Looking for smart progressive talk that is occasionally amusing? Well, subscribe to our YouTube feed. Subscribe to our podcast. Like us on Facebook. And just generally enjoy us.